Like the video and subscribe to our channel right now and get 1 week of amazing luck. From a man in southern Florida who almost took a 4-story tumble off a parking garage, to a student pilot in the UK whose engine failed hundreds of feet in the air, and lucky ducklings who trying to cross road. Here are the 10 terrifying close calls caught on camera. Number 10. Lucky woman. During the summer of 2020 in St. Petersburg, Russia, somewhat boring dashcam footage of traffic became a lively, heart-pounding thriller when a middle-aged pedestrian stepped into the street. The dull line of slow-moving cars pauses to allow a female pedestrian to cross, and she quickly hurries across the 2 right-hand lanes before proceeding into oncoming traffic, waving cheerfully to the drivers. Her light-hearted mood is soon shattered when she realizes that the 2 oncoming lanes are flowing much faster than the lanes she just crossed. As a large white van barrels towards her, the woman freezes in shock for a moment before continuing, only to trip and fall to the ground. Luckily, the driver of the stop was mere inches before the woman, saving both of them from a very bad day. The woman is certainly lucky to be alive, and this clip serves as a great reminder of a childhood lesson. Always look both ways before you cross the street. Number 9. Scientist covered in ash. Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula is home to the 9,500-foot stratovolcano known as Mount Bezymyany. In the larger scope of Earth's history, it is a little baby volcano, having just formed 4,700 years ago. In the past 3,000 years, there have only been 3 times of exceptionally high activity. A similar eruption to Mount St. Helens occurred most recently in the 1950s. Then it blew up again in 2023. A team of Russian experts arrived on the scene on April 7, 2023, to investigate the growing volcano. Since March, it has been erupting on and off, blasting ash and lava into the sky. The edges of the crater appeared ready to give way, which ought to have been a warning. Perhaps they ought to have paid attention to Mother Nature. Ash was raining down all around the cameraman, Peter Krinkin, and his crew, forcing them to take cover. The severe ash fall and the possibility of fresh rock falls prevented them from leaving the area. Regretfully, it also meant that rescue crews were unable to reach the area. It took our scientists an entire day to get an answer. The plume of ash reached a height of between 32,000 and 39,000 feet, as reported by the Global Volcanism Program. It blanketed the Earth in snow, turning it gloomy. The scientists were completely coated when they eventually made it back to base. Number 8. Rash driving. For those of us who drive, traffic incidents are usually the cause of our heart stopping, sweat-inducing close calls. We often take for granted that operating a multi-ton vehicle at high speeds can have some serious consequences, and every now and then, we get a chilling reminder. Dashcam film from the early hours of January 2020 in the Canadian town of Sauk, British Columbia, shows the incredible moment a woman avoids not one, but several possibly fatal incidents. A female SUV driver on Highway 14, thought to be in her take the car in her lane. As she merges into the left lane to pass the sedan to her right, she loses control of the vehicle.
and stop counterfeiters, which was a big problem for the government back in the mid-1800s.
It was only thanks to the reactions of those around her that the woman remained unharmed. The driver of the white car in the oncoming lane was able to quickly merge to their right, avoiding her. The driver she was attempting to overtake maintained their speed, thus avoiding her when she spun back to the right before coming to rest on the shoulder, hitting a signpost. Allegedly, a witness claimed that the driver was late for work. Number 7. Crash landing. October 4, 2013 was a perfect day for flying over Somerset County, England. John Merriman, a 53-year-old pilot in training, took to the skies in his two-seater microlight aircraft. He'd already gone up and down once, but he wanted to take another flight. John took off from the airport and climbed to 300 feet. Things were going fine at first, but then tragedy struck about 11 minutes into his flight. While traveling around 50 knots, his engine suddenly stopped. John Merriman, a 53-year-old pilot in training, took to the skies in his two-seater microlight aircraft. While John's 5,000-pound plane was kaput, he walked away without a bruise. He remembers thinking to himself, "Don't panic, remember your training." Thank goodness, all that training paid off. Just before the incident, John had to drop the nose to avoid running into some overhead power lines. Then, at 50 miles per hour, he slammed into the ground, just missing a herd of cows off-screen. John may obtain his full pilot's license with just a few more flight hours. He wanted to make the most of the lovely day for that reason. He was not deterred by the crash either. Not long later, he purchased a new aircraft. Number 6. A tree fell off on lift. The largest ski resort in Eastern Europe is the one at Bukovel. Situated in the Ukrainian oblast of Ivano-Frankivsk, it boasts 37 kilometers of trails and 17 chairlifts. Skiers lodge at one of 7 prestigious hotels, drawing visitors from all around Europe. About 12,000 people can be accommodated on the entire land at once. It was just another day at the mountain on April 13, 2013. A party of skiers boarded a lift to reach the top. When they heard a concerning noise, they turned their cameras on. The following scenarios could be the greatest nightmare of any skier.
Охренеть! Воу! Вот это да!
Luckily, the tree fell on the lift's downward side. Amazingly, there was no visible damage. The lift kept going, and the cable ripped all the branches off the tree. That one chair did come dangerously close to our cameraman. According to reports, nobody got hurt on the other side. Number 5. Clever truck driver. Many parents are aware that it's crucial to never, ever turn your back on a baby who is walking. They have a rapid pace, and you never know what chaos they might unleash in those little seconds. In Tien Quang, Vietnam, a mother is extremely fortunate that 2 clever truck drivers allowed her to visit her child even though she was unable to. A truck driver's dashcam recorded the incident on June 9, 2018, when an overly eager child ran into the street. Fortunately, he sees the child and, warning the approaching vehicles by slamming on the brakes and honks. The truck coming the opposite way also stops just as the child decides that the street was an excellent place to sit. A biker on the right-hand side of the truck also notices the child, pulls up, and dismounts, removing them from danger. Thankfully, a woman who we can only presume to be the baby's mother comes racing out to claim the toddler from the biker. A serious tragedy was narrowly avoided, and it's a good thing these drivers were so alert since the baby wasn't so easy to spot. Number 4. Risky prank. Two buddies in Lake County, Florida made the decision to frighten other people on November 8, 2014. Both Dave and Carell, his neighbor, are experts in their fields. Dave likes explosives, and Carell likes paragliding. To frighten their guests, they staged a near accident together. Dave put up a barrel of binary explosive used in weapons, called temerity. Some are readily available as kits. It was intended for Carell to arrive by air when Dave detonated the device. What happened next looked like a scary situation to those who weren't involved.
Hey, he's about to shoot the camera right. He's good line.
From Dave's viewpoint, Carell flies past and is just barely missed by the barrel. On the other hand, the barrel is shown flying several hundred feet into the air in the Carell shot footage, completely missing him. Their strategy was a complete success. Their pals had a nice scare, and they had a good chuckle. Number 3. Lucky ducklings. Not just humans struggle to survive during a close encounter. In most clips, we see ourselves running away from the creatures, but in this one, the shoe is on the other foot. In the spring of 2020, a passerby in Fort Worth, Texas, made the decision to record this endearing duck incident on camera. Just as a car pulls up, the filmmaker, clearly aware of the possible danger on the duck family's voyage, asks, "Mother duck, where's your yellow safety vest?" The duck family is smashed by a driver who appears to be indifferent at a fast rate of speed, while the onlooker appears ready for disaster.
The boy crossing the street. Okay. Mama duck, where's your yellow safety vest? Orange safety vest. Oh my gosh, I can't believe none of them did.
Unbelievably, the mother and all 11 babies were left unharmed, though scattered and likely frightened by the event. The mother duck gathers her ducklings and continues to make her way across the highway without any further interruptions. Although we're all rooting for the duck and her ducklings, it's worth noting that the driver got pretty lucky too. Running over ducklings can be considered animal cruelty, which can carry a penalty of up to 5 years in jail. Keep your eyes on the road, guys. Number 2. Earthquake in Indonesia. West Java, Indonesia is home to the little town of Cianjur. Approximately 175,000 people live there and commute to the nearby cities for employment. Regretfully, Indonesia is extremely susceptible to earthquakes and volcanic eruptions due to its location on the Pacific Ring of Fire. The latter stunned the nation in November of 2022. A 5.6 magnitude earthquake occurred on November 21, close to Cianjur. The impact was felt all around the island, despite the epicenter being roughly 7 miles below the surface. A number of cameras, including CCTV and mobile phones, recorded the instant the earthquake occurred. An apartment building's exterior worker was just inches close to suffering a severe concussion or worse. "368 schools and 62,000 homes were reported to have been damaged or destroyed. Approximately 73,000 people were displaced by the earthquake, and over 7,000 more were injured." Number 1. Landslide on Jammu-Srinagar National Highway. The 153-mile Jammu-Srinagar National Highway connects the territorial capital of Jammu with the city of Srinagar, which is located in the Kashmir Valley. The weather in East Asia has long been troublesome for these important routes. Traffic disruptions are a common result of landslides, which are unavoidable due to the steep mountains. A particularly terrifying landslide on April 2, 2023, accomplished more than only obstructing traffic. The T5, a 2,900-foot tunnel through the mountain that avoids a lengthy section of highway, was recently completed by workers. On March 16, it opened to traffic. However, a few weeks later, it had to close. Just think about how quickly those rocks must be moving. It's fortunate for that one guy to have moved aside in time. The only all-weather route connecting the Kashmir area to the rest of India is the Jammu-Srinagar Highway. This meant that in order to remove the debris and guarantee everyone's safety, officials had to act swiftly. Fortunately, no one was injured in the landslide. Not much harm was done by the rocks themselves.